Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. It's been a while since I brought you out into the garden and kind of updated you on how it was looking. So I figured today was the perfect day. Why not? I'm going to show you how the raspberry area is looking and the main garden, the flower or the planter boxes that we made. Maybe I'll bring you up front. The up front is overrun, but we'll maybe bring you up front as well. I did harvest the onions the other day from up front. They were nothing huge, nothing big, but they were all dying back, so they had to come out of the ground before they just rotted in the ground. So I did get that harvest the other day. Now I gotta check everything. I haven't even been out yet to see how things are looking. It's about 7:30 in the morning. I've been up since 5. So I'm a little late today getting out here. Let's jump into this. So guys, this is the raspberry area. You can see there's a plant back there. Nothing sprouted up here. There's one there. And then this is the biggest one. None of them have raspberries, but that's kind of expected. Usually green stalks don't produce fruit. So that's kind of expected. We kind of anticipated not getting anything this year. So they look beautiful. They're doing good. They're seeming to like the soil. So hopefully next year we'll have a nice yield off of at least 3 plants. This was our potatoes. If you remember, I did harvest them. So this is a lack of research on my end. I did not realize there's indeterminate and determinate potatoes. I knew that with tomatoes. I knew that with certain fruits, but I did not know that with potatoes. So the ones I planted were determined, which means they only grow on one level. So I have all these tires stacked up, and I only had one level of potatoes. They were nice size. They did not look bad at all, but not nearly as many as you'd anticipate when you think they're going to grow through all the dirt. Lesson learned. This is actually the dirt coming out of the round turntable composter. I moved that out because it was all getting close. Other than the very top there, that's from the potatoes. Moved it into the tires so that I can finish decomposing, and hopefully the worms will go in there and help it along so we could use the turner for food and stuff coming out of the kitchen and not just sitting out so animals can eat it. And this will hopefully be ready to use then next year for the garden or when we need it. I took the dirt from the potatoes. That's all in the house so we can plant our fall stuff and get that ready to go. Really need to do that today. Maybe I will. So that's this corner. Really not looking bad, and we did put a gate up now so the dogs can't get back there, so that finally got done. We only really have our basil and a little bit of parsley. Most everything else did not do well. I think this is either mint or lemon. That would be mint, I think. Nope, lemon. That's lemon. So we have a little bit of lemon balm still in there, but a lot of the stuff kind of died back. So I think they got shaded out by all of this. This is the okra. Finally started getting production off of them. As you can see, they have flowers, and that's a nice okra right there. I harvested one yesterday. We decided we really do need to plant more okra next year, or not at all, because you just don't get as many off of one plant. So we're finally getting that production. The habanero has gone insane. So that is doing very well, and those are starting to change their colors. Look how big those peppers are. You can see some more orange ones down there. They're getting orange. You can harvest these at any time. So at green you could harvest them, but they taste more earthy when they're green. They get more heat and taste more like a habanero when they get orange and yellow and red. Carrots, I'm not sure what they're doing yet. We haven't really checked them. Last time we did, they weren't ready. The tomatoes, as you can see, have really gone insane. Sorry for that sun glare, guys. It's that morning sun. Can't help it. But they've gone insane. As you can see, they're huge. Look how tall they are. And they're taking up most of that box. We will never again plant tomatoes in these boxes. But it is taking up, this is like the 6-foot box, I think. This is past the halfway point here, and that's kind of where they're ending, and they're taking every bit of it up. And then you can kind of see this is the box next door to it. If you're looking, you can see we got tomatillos growing within the tomatoes. So it's huge. It would take a 6-foot box all day long as far as width goes. I'd say it is probably about 6 foot. The tomatoes here, they're not looking horrible. Not a huge production coming off of them, but they are bigger tomatoes, so I'm happy with what we're getting. We're not getting the little tiny babies from here. We're getting good size. So guys, welcome to the jungle. Not how you remember it, is it? Heck, on a daily basis, it's not how I remember it. It changes every day. This is our tomato patch. Now, guys, I don't know if it's cross-pollination. I don't know if it's because of the growing conditions. I don't know if seeds got mixed up. But our cherry tomatoes, or what we presume are cherry tomatoes, are coming out monstrous. Our big tomatoes are producing nice sizes. But it seems like we have more cherry tomatoes than I remember planting. So I don't know if our big tomatoes are producing as cherries, or if our cherries are just, somehow our seeds got mixed up. That's possible too. So I don't know there. That's an unknown. We're just taking what we get. So here is a good example. You got some nice sized tomatoes with some cherry tomatoes on the same plant. So it makes you wonder. But we're just going to take what we can get and be happy we're getting a production. I am picking the tomatoes as soon as they start showing color to deter other animals from stealing them. Some of these are laying on the ground because of just issues with trellising. We didn't trellis them soon enough. We should have trellised them sooner, but it is what it is. So I am picking them sooner just so that they don't kind of lay on the ground either. So I could leave some of these on here a little longer, possibly, you're thinking, but I'm going to pick them sooner just because I don't want to lose them to animals or the ground. Because they will finish ripening in the house. Tomatoes are one of those things that will ripen off the vine as long as they're past a certain stage. If you pick them too soon, then sometimes they will stay green. But then you got fried green tomatoes. So it isn't a big deal, really, in the end. Let's see. There's one right there I knew I saw. Now, honestly, a lot of these, if I were to leave them and come out in an hour or two, they'd already be pretty orange. They do turn very quickly. So that's one thing I have noticed, where I'll go through, I won't find too many. Mike comes back through like an hour later and he's like, look at all these tomatoes. I'm like, really? I was just out there. But some beautiful tomatoes, guys. Here's another one. But this is what I mean. These are basically cherry tomatoes. But they're what I thought were my bigger guys, a lot of them. So I don't know. I really don't. And then I have the occasional small cherries that look like cherries. So maybe it is cross-pollination. Maybe it's something else. Here's a good example of one that's laying on the ground pretty much. I did do something where it got the aeration and gets them off the dirt. So they're less likely to rot on these ones because this whole vine was pretty much laying down. So I didn't want to lose the whole vine. That was after losing quite a few. And that's upsetting. It's very upsetting when you lose tomatoes, especially when they're a good size. Here's one that looks like it's on the ground, so we might have lost it. See? Perfect example of a lost tomato. Something's already been eating it. And we got more over here, so hopefully, see, like that one we're able to save. So you just never know. You don't want to lose all your big guys. And those especially are the ones I don't want to leave on the vine too long when they start turning, because you're more likely to lose them. And you hate losing your tomatoes. And then I also, my way of thinking is you take off the tomatoes off the vine when they're ready. It gives the signal to the tomato that it has enough strength to maybe produce more. And maybe we'll get a little bit more off of them through this growing season. Sad to say, our growing season is very quickly coming to an end. And that's sad to say. So, So far, in a very short time, we got some nice sized tomato crop. It's getting smaller by the day, I've noticed. For a while there, I was coming out and I was pulling a ton of tomatoes. Now, I'm still getting tomatoes, but not in the abundance I was. But as you can see, some of the tomatoes are starting to die back. Sad thing that happens with fall. These guys are funny, guys. So, these are Mexican marigolds. According to everything you read online, they're only supposed to be about 12 inches tall. That's a 6-foot privacy fence. They're past the halfway point. They can't even hold themselves up. But they're finally starting to bloom. It took them all summer to bloom. So that's supposed to help detour animals because they don't like the smell. Get the pollinators in here. Pretty. These guys aren't even blooming yet. They're almost at that halfway point. So sometimes I think the soil might have been a little too rich, making stuff decide it had to really go out of sorts to outperform itself, which caused things to get a little supersized and take longer to develop. We do have some new flowers on some of these tomatoes, so maybe we'll get a little bit of a bumper crop. I don't think we're going to get near the extent I would like, but hey, any bumper crop is a good crop. These guys, I didn't have red marigolds. I've never seen red marigolds. Look at that. They're so pretty though. They got redder through the season. Our chamomile, I definitely need to do some processing on that. I've slacked on them lately. I'm not gonna lie, I've really slacked on them lately. Time runs away with you when you have processing to do, and I've been processing so many cucumbers and pickles. I need to do tomatoes today, I really do, that I just haven't had the time to come out here and deal with chamomile. And really, that only takes a short time, so kind of sad to say. Kind of sad to say. This area is a mess. So we have our tomato plant. We have tomatillo back there in this corner. That's part of the tomatillo right there. Obviously got our monstrous corn that outperformed itself. We got the pumpkin, which I came very close to ripping that out, and then it decided it wanted to live. And all of it's kind of hugging itself and becoming best friends and helping support each other. And you know, that's just what it is. You can see right there is a pumpkin that's forming. See it now, guys? That's why the pumpkin is still there. I'll show you the other one. So yeah, it's all growing. It's all doing amazing. It's just a literal jungle. The RC track, yeah, well, that was an afterthought after all this came up. It was an afterthought. Our sunflowers are opening up. This guy's little, but he's pretty. We got weeds galore. I have not de-weeded back here in a while. Again, falls into that time thing. I see tomatoes. Do you see those tomatoes? And those are good sized tomatoes that we definitely don't want to lose. I might be stepping on more tomatoes. This is the joy of this situation we have. You can't get into everything without possibly stepping on other stuff. At one time, this was not like this, but that time has passed. So I'm going to finish looking through these tomatoes fast, and I'll bring you guys back when I get to the next thing, because I don't want this to be a 3-hour long video showing you guys the garden, but I'll be back. Okay guys, we are in the pumpkin trellis. And as you can see, this is why the pumpkins were about to get ripped out. They had gotten a disease. I tried to fix it. I got more dieback and just dead looking vines. But I swear it heard me talking about it. Me and Mike, we were going to do it in like 2 days. Come out the next day, and it surprised us with females. And as you can see now, pumpkins. Like, this guy's kind of harder to see, but it's about the size of my hand now. These are pie pumpkins, so they don't get huge. So we got pumpkins. So they got to stay. I couldn't rip them out once they bared fruit. So the pumpkins, though, have kind of made friends with the tomatillos and tomatoes, weaseled through, and went through the zucchini area that's kind of in rough shapes, and made friends with the cucumbers over there. So yeah, they've made friends. But now we're on the other side, because nothing there is ready to harvest, except for maybe this guy right here. We have one zucchini, which I'm letting get a little bit bigger, because we're gonna make some zucchini bread with that. Yum. Then we got our sweet peppers are finally producing. Nothing on those plants really ready to go. We got this guy here that can come. He can come join us. This plant's got our big guys, because there's another big in here. Yeah, we got a couple biggies that will let come off of here, and there's another one on there. So those are our sweet peppers that we started as seeds. They took longer to produce, but they're starting to produce. Got a couple pretty sunflowers over here. This one I think has a little bit of a deformity, as you can see. Still special. This is our second planting corn, and it's not near as tall as the other corn, but it's about almost as tall as me, and it's starting to get its little plume on the top, so that stuff is looking good. This is our first planting of sweet corn. Beautiful. And you can see, especially right there, we have the beans growing in there. I have yet to get a bean off of there. I don't know if the dogs are stealing it or another animal, but you can see how they've kind of just enwrapped the corn. So that's been interesting. That's some more second plant corn. So our serranos are still absolutely going insane, as you can see in here. Like all those serranos that are ready to be harvested. So they're absolutely insanity. Our pickling cucumbers are starting to kind of die back, except for a select handful of them. But it's life. It happens. Our cucumbers, on the other hand, and our cantaloupe are still insane. Our beautiful watermelon are still producing. This guy down here, not ready to be harvested yet, but looking good. We got some new zucchini I planted to try to get a little bit of zucchini still, because we did get the diseases over there. Got a little bit of this stuff that needs, cabbage that needs to come out. This is after cutting the one head of cabbage. See the growth coming back. I should break a couple of these off, because you should only leave about 2 on there. This one's got a new one starting to come on. This is the newer cutting. Our jalapenos got huge, and they're producing some nice looking jalapenos. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. They got tall. See how tall they are? Right there next to the serranos. Some more cabbage in that corner I'm going to cut. Woo! We got plenty of cucumbers just hanging in the trellis. This is why we did this. We love this. And we got the cantaloupe hanging. Still plenty of cantaloupe still growing on here. That guy's probably getting close to harvest. That guy's close to harvest. Cantaloupe and like watermelon will ripen in the house, so I can harvest those two big guys and let them ripen in the house, which I'm very likely going to do. So some of these little guys have a little bit more power going to them. This one is the one I thought was possibly a crossbreed. It's finally started growing more, because at first it kind of stunted. But you can still see that solid green, and it's kind of rough stripe going down it. So that one, I don't know what it's going to taste like. We got some more sunflowers. Those are our 3 newest heads. We had one get taken out by squirrels before it ever got a head. Another one that they carried off that was probably about the size of the little guy back there. And then the big head they tried to carry off, and they were not successful, and we cut it and have it hang drying just before they could carry it off. But these 3 are so far looking good. Hopefully they leave them alone. I'd like to let them kind of stay out a little longer. But we're going to probably lose some sunflowers because they're all along the fence. So that's how the back here is looking. I'm going to get a couple things I said I was going to get, and then we'll go up front maybe. Oh, and I will show something else. There's this area here. See those big old pickles? They're almost overripe. When they turn like orange pink, they're overripe, and that's when you can get those seeds off of them. And that's what our goal is with those 2. Same with, I got hit in the head with a pickle. Same with this cucumber here. We're letting overripe so we can get those seeds off of it. So let's get these harvested.